Here's a testing rematch of Cloud, Aang and Katara, with a partner of Leonardo the Balance and Raphael the Muscle. Starting hands for Leonardo, a legitimate business, the Ooze, Plains, Leonardo, April O'Neil, Dark Leo, Casey Jones. For Aang and Katara, we got Great Divide, Katara the Fearless, Uncle's Musings, Forest, South Voyager, Plains, Aang Swift Saver. And for Cloud, we've got Gaz, Feral Youth, North Pole Gates, Island, Crystal Chosen, Sin, Memories Returning, and Meditation Pools. And Leonardo won the roll-off, so we're going to draw into Ground Chuck and Dirtbag. We're going to play Illegitimate Business. It's going to come into play tapped, and we gain 1 life. We're going to pass the turn to Aang, who will draw into White Lotus tile. We're going to play a Plains, and then we're going to pass the turn to Cloud, who will draw into Interceptor. We're going to play the Meditation Pools. It comes into play tapped. And we'll pass the turn to Leonardo, who will draw into a Plains. We're going to play the Plains. We're going to tap 2, 1 being a white, for Leonardo Cutting Edge. Then we're going to pass the turn to Aang and Katara, who will draw into an island. We're going to play a Forest. We're going to tap 2, 1 being a green. Or a white, sorry, 1 being a white. And we're going to cast South Pole Voyager. So we're going to pass the turn to Cloud, who will draw into an Airship Engine Room. We are going to play the Airship Engine Room tapped. And we will pass the turn to Leonardo, who will draw into Definitely Not a Turtle. I think we're going to play a Plains. Then we're going to tap our 3 lands. And we're going to cast Definitely Not a Turtle. We will go to combat. We're going to tap Leonardo Cutting Edge, and we will attack Cloud for 1. Leonardo has lifelink, and whenever we gain life, we put a +1 counter on him. And we will pass the turn to Aang and Katara, who will draw into Aang A Lot to Learn. We're going to play an island. Then we will tap our Forest and Island, 1 for a green, to play the Great Divide Guide. Each land and ally you control has add 1 mana of any color. South Pole Voyager will trigger. Whenever a creature or another ally you control enters, you gain a life. And then I believe we can't tap the Great Divide Guide for mana because he's got Summoning Sickness. And we've got nothing for 2 here. So we're going to have to pass the turn to Cloud. And Cloud is going to draw into Kefka. We're going to play the North Pole Gates. Comes into play tapped. And then we're going to tap the Engine Room and Meditation Pools. 1 for a red. To play Gao, Feral Youth. I think we're going to go to the end step. At the end step, Gao will trigger, but nothing left the graveyard, so nothing will happen. And we'll go to Leonardo, who will untap, upkeep, draw into Casey Jones, Vigilante. I think we're going to go to combat. We're going to tap Definitely Not a Turtle and attack Aang and Katara. I don't think we're going to attack with Leonardo Cutting Edge right now because I would definitely block with Gao and get rid of Leonardo the Cutting Edge. So we're just going to attack with Definitely Not a Turtle. Yeah, I would definitely block, regardless of which one he went for, because just to get rid of... just to get rid of him. So Let's tap him. Aang and Katara will declare no blocks against Definitely Not a Turtle and will take 3 damage. Since Aang and Katara declared no blocks, Leonardo's going to tap a black and a white. And we're going to sneak in Dark Leo and Shredder. So Definitely Not a Turtle will come back to her hand, and in its place, Dark Leo and Shredder will be tapped and attacking. So Dark Leo and Shredder are going to do 1 damage, and attacking ninjas we control have Death Touch. And when we deal damage to a player, we're going to create a 1/1 black ninja creature token. Then if we control 5 or more ninjas, that player loses half their life. We will not have 5 or more, but we will still create that token. I forgot to put a ninja token in this deck, so we're going to use the black dice as our ninja. And it's going to be sitting beside Dark Leo and Shredder. So we're going to pass the turn to Aang and Katara, who will draw into Boomerang Basics. So we are going to tap 3 lands. Let's say for green. Why not? And we're also going to tap our South Pole Voyager for green as well. And we're going to cast the White Lotus tile. It enters tapped, which is too bad because I could have done some shenanigans. So we're going to pass the turn to Cloud, who will draw into Hero of Light. We're going to play an island. Then we're going to tap 4, 1 being a red. And we're going to cast Kefka. He's indestructible, but because our devotion to red is less than 5, it'll only be 2 when he's on the board, because of Gao and himself. He isn't a creature. But, yeah. Let's go to combat. We're going to tap Gao for an attack. I think we'll attack Aang and Katara. And when he attacks, we get to put a +1 counter on him. Aang and Katara will declare no blocks. We want to keep that Great Divide Guide around. And we'll take 3 damage. And we'll pass the turn to Leonardo, who will untap, upkeep, and draw into Leonardo Big Brother. Let's go to combat. Definitely a bad move on Cloud's part to leave themselves open. So Dark Leo and Shredder will attack Cloud with Leonardo and Dark Leo and Shredder. That's going to do 3 damage. Leo will have lifelink, so we'll gain 2. And whenever we gain life, he'll get a +1 counter. And when Dark Leo and Shredder deal the combat damage, we're going to create another black ninja. Wait. Okay, before combat, in our main phase, and I'm thinking about it, let's cast Leonardo Big Brother. So we're going to tap these 3 lands. We'll cast Leonardo Big Brother. So now when we attack with Leonardo and Dark Shredder, we will be creating another ninja, and we will actually take down Cloud's life by half. Round it up. So we'll be taking 20 life from Cloud. Oh, not 20 life. So it triggers after damage. We got the other ninja now. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ninjas. Now we've got 5 or more ninjas. So Cloud will lose half their life, which is 36 right now. So we'll be losing 18 life. That was just disgusting. Yeah, I almost didn't think I was gonna save Leonardo for my second main, but it just made sense. And Cloud is wide open. Didn't even think about Dark Leo and Shredder. Should have been on the mind. Because even if it wasn't Leonardo Big Brother, it would have been Definitely Not a Turtle, who's always also a ninja. So we'll pass the turn to Aang and Katara. Bad move on my part. And we will draw into Aang, the last Airbender. So I think we're going to tap 3, blue, green, white. And we're going to cast Katara, the Fearless. So when she enters, South Pole Voyager will trigger. And when another ally you control enters, we gain a life. So we'll gain that. But Katara the Fearless says if a triggered ability of an ally you control triggers, it triggers an additional time. So we're going to gain another life. And the South Pole Voyager says if it's the second time this ability has resolved, we're going to draw a card. And we're going to draw into a Plains. So now we're going to play that Plains. And I think we're going to tap the Plains for a white. We'll tap the Great Divide for a green and the South Pole Voyager for a blue. And then we're going to tap the White Lotus tile for, let's see, it gives us mana of any one color equal to the greatest number of creatures. We have 3 allies. So we'll tap it for 3 white. We're going to cast Aang and Katara. And when they enter, we're going to create X11 white ally creature tokens, where X is the number of tapped artifacts and or creatures. So we have 2 creatures and an artifact tapped. So we're going to create 3 1/1 white allies. And a couple of triggers will happen. So let's start with the South Pole Voyagers. We're going to gain 1 life for each ally we have enter. So that'll be 3. And then Katara the Fearless will trigger. And that ability of Aang and Katara will go off again, and we'll make another 3 allies, and we're going to gain another 3 life. So 6 life altogether, and 3 more allies. And I guess we'll pass the turn to Cloud, who will untap, upkeep, and draw into Emmett Selch. I don't think we want to make the same mistake we made last time. And unfortunately for Cloud, we don't have a whole heck of a lot. We could bring Cloud out, but we don't have haste, so we'd have to wait. I kind of want to cast Memories Returning to get more cards in our hand there, so maybe we could play a land or whatnot, but well, Gowl is a 3/3 right now, so we could stop Dark Leo and Shredder. He would die, but we could still stop him. So maybe, yes, we won't do any attacks, but maybe we're going to tap 4 of our lands, 2 of them being blue. And we're going to cast Memories Returning. So we're going to reveal the top 5 cards of our library, put 1 in our hand, then an opponent gets to choose 1 to put on the bottom. We're going to choose Aang and Katara for this one, because we don't trust this Leonardo guy. Although Aang and Katara is kind of, they're going to run away with the game any second. Let's go for Dark Leo and Shredder. Doesn't matter anyway, because I'm doing it. So the cards revealed are World Tree, Plains, Sphere Grid, Baron Airship Kingdom, and Lucas Stadium. I think Cloud's going to choose the World Tree to put in their hand. Dark Leo and Shredder, either we can deny him land, or we could deny him something else. I think we should deny him the Sphere Grid. So that could go on the bottom. Next to go into the hand, let's do the Lucas Stadium. And then just to slow them down, we'll put the Plains in at the bottom, and we'll put the Baron Airship into their hand. I think Cloud will play the World Tree. We don't have 6 lands yet, but next turn we will when we play a land. And it comes into play tapped anyway. So let's pass the turn to Leonardo, who will untap, upkeep, and draw into Rain-Slicked Copse. We will play the Rain-Slicked Copse. It comes into play tapped. So we've already got 5 ninjas out. And, well, Aang and Katara do have quite a few allies sitting there. But that's okay. Let's threaten them anyway. Because they are going to run away with the game. So we're just going to go an all-out attack on them. But before we do that, we're going to tap 2 lands. And we're going to play the Ooze. Then we're going to tap the Ooze to exile memories returning from the grave and make a mutagen token. Then we're going to tap 1 to sacrifice the mutagen token. And we're going to put a +1/+1 counter on... Let's see here. Let's go with Dark Leo and Shredder. So we'll go to combat. We'll attack with all 5 of our ninjas who have Death Touch because of Dark Leo and Shredder. And yeah, let's see what happens. So Aang and Katara, I think we're going to block Dark Leo and Shredder with one of our allies. Just a 1/1 ally. And we will take the damage from everything else. So we'll be taking 3 from the cutting edge. We'll be taking, for each other creature, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we'll be taking 5 from Big Brother. And we'll be taking 1 each from the little ninjas there. So that'll be 10 damage altogether. We gained life. So Leonardo, we gained 3 life from cutting edge. So he will get a +1 counter. Yeah, I guess that's all we can do. I don't think that's going to be enough, though. So we're going to go to Aang and Katara, who will draw, untap, upkeep, and draw into the Kyoshi village. I think we're going to play the Kyoshi village. And then we're going to... I think we're going to tap all 5 of our allies for mana. And then we're going to go to combat. We'll say green mana, and then it'll go away. So on combat, we're going to tap Aang and Katara to attack Leonardo with 5 in the air. That is 5 commander damage. And on attack, we're going to create X 1/1 white ally creature tokens, where X is the number of tapped artifacts and or creatures you control. So we got 5 tapped creatures. So we're going to create 5 allies. And those ones are going to have summoning sickness. So in our second main, I think what we're going to do is we're going to tap our Lotus tile. And we're going to make it all white this time. So we're going to get 5, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 white mana. And we're going to use 4 of it to cast Aang, the last Airbender. When it enters, we're going to airbend up to 1 target non-land permanent. So we're going to airbend Aang and Katara. Oh, I forgot. Katara the Fearless would have went off during the allies coming in. And the South Pole Voyager. So the ability would trigger a second time. So we're getting 5 more allies. We're going to gain 10 life. And because it's the second time the gaining life would have triggered, we're going to draw a card. And we will draw into Airbender's Reversal. So really, when we tapped our White Lotus tile, we would have gotten 15, 19 mana. So we used 4 of it to bring Aang in, which will give us gain us another life. So after using the 4 to bring in Aang and airbending Aang and Katara, we have 15 left, so we're going to use 2 of them to bring back Aang and Katara from being airbent. So when Aang and Katara enter, we're going to create X 1/1 white ally creature tokens, where X is the number of tapped artifacts and or creatures. We have 5 creatures tapped and 1 White Lotus style artifact. So that's 6. And Katara the Fearless will trigger, so it'll happen again. So we'll get 12 altogether. So we have 13 white mana left. We're going to cast Airbender's Reversal. So we're going to airbend target creature we control. That'll be Aang and Katara. And then we will use 2 of that mana to bring them back. And we will be creating another 12 allies and gaining 12 life from that. So of the 19, we used 4 for Aang. So 15, then 2 to bring back Aang and Katara. So 13. Then we used 2 on the Airbender's Reversal, so 11. Then 2 to bring them back, so 9. We have 9 mana left. And we're going to cast Aang, A Lot to Learn, which nets us another life. Then we will pass the turn to Cloud. Cloud's going to draw into Sleep Magic. Oh, I had a brain fart there. I think what we're going to do is we're going to play the Barren Airship Kingdom. It comes into play tapped. That'll give us the 6 lands, so we can tap our lands for any colors. There's no way we can block all those people from Aang and Katara. I don't really know what to do. We've only got 5 mana available right now. So we can't cast Sin. Can't cast the Crystal Chosen. We can get an Interceptor. We can get in the Hero of Light. But I mean, we could cast Sleep Magic on Aang and Katara to make sure they don't do it again. But that still leaves us open. And I mean, we could bring out more of a mana generator here. We don't have haste for Cloud, so we're not going to get the White Warrior. I guess we're going to tap for 3. And we're going to bring out Lucas Stadium. Then we're going to tap 1 for a blue. And we're going to cast Sleep Magic on Aang and Katara. I know with their airbending, it probably won't stop them. But maybe it'll slow them down if they don't have any more airbending or anything in their hand. So it's the only thing I can think of right now, but there's no way I could stop the horde that's going to be coming. So I guess there's nothing really else to cast. I don't have any 2 mana spells right now, so we will pass the turn to Leonardo, who will untap, upkeep, and draw into Mutant Town. Well, there's not much Leonardo can do either. We can play the Mutant Town and gain a life if it enters tapped. Leonardo can survive one go. What we need is a board wipe, and I know there's a board wipe in the Leonardo deck. I just don't think we're going to be able to get it unless we're real lucky. So I think we're going to tap the Ooze. We're going to exile Airbender's Reversal from Aang's grave. And we will make a mutagen. And I think the only way we can hopefully find that board wipe, because I think we can live through 1 attack. So we have 1 more turn to find it. Since even if they do create more guys, they'll have summoning sickness. So we're going to tap 4 lands, one being a blue. And we're going to cast April O'Neil, Hacktivist. So at the beginning of our end step, we can draw a card for each card type among spells we've cast, which will only be 1. It'll be April. A creature. But it's basically all we got right now. So I don't think we are going to attack this round. We kind of need the blocker so we can survive an attack and hope for some kind of board wipe. So we're going to go to the end step. We'll draw into not a board wipe. That's unfortunate. I guess I could attack with Cutting Edge. No, I'm going to save him. So we're drawing into Mighty Mutanables. Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. So let's go to Aang. Aang's going to draw into Flopsy, Boomy's buddy. So the reason why I kept the Great Divide, South Pole Voyager, and Katara the Fearless untapped is because we have Aang Swift Savior in hand. So if somebody tried to remove Aang and Katara, we could flash him in and airbend Aang and Katara, kind of saving them. Yeah. I think we're going to tap the White Lotus tile. We're tapping it for green, and we're going to get a ridiculous amount, basically, for the creature type ally, which we have 24, 34, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43. 43 green mana. What are we going to do with 43 green mana? Well, we're going to use 6 of them to cast Flopsy, Boomy's buddy. And when he enters, we're going to put a +1 counter on each creature we control. So I'm just going to use one tap thing to tap all 37 of our allies. And we're going to attack who are, I got 1 +1 counter to represent all of them on that card. We're going to attack Leonardo with, I think, everything. So here's how we're going to break it up. We're going to attack Leonardo with 28 of those 2/2 allies. They can only block, they have enough creatures to block 6 of them. So that'll still be 22 creatures getting through, doing 2 damage each. That'll be 44. That'll get rid of Leonardo. And we're going to send 10 of them at Cloud. Cloud right now only has 1 creature to block with because Kefka isn't a creature at the moment. So that would be 9 getting through. And they're 2/2s, so they will be doing 18 damage. So that'll get rid of the both of them. So if, yeah, that takes care of them both. Aang and Katara just got away with it. If you're wondering why I kept this ally separate, I ended up moving the counter down here and putting this ally separately, is if we couldn't kill them. I had Aang a lot to learn, Aang Last Airbender, and this ally free. I was keeping the Great Divide Guide, South Pole Voyager, and Katara free so I could cast Aang Swift Savior in case I needed to save Aang and Katara. But what I was going to do in the second main was cast Boomerang Basics, returning Aang and Katara. Oh, that wouldn't have worked. Sorry, I thought I was going to airbend again. I guess not. Well, I could have. I could have done Aang and Katara, brought him back to hand. Or, sorry, not back to hand. I could have airbent them and then brought him back and made a crap load more, but then I'd chance getting board wiped too. But yeah, I guess they got pretty lucky with that one there. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it.